Hey guys, what's going on? It's Alex from Strength Hacks. Today I just want to cover a recent controversy in the fitness world with Ryan Crowley. As you all know, everyone's made a video on this already. I just want to get my 2 cents in since I saw a disturbing comment in Scott Herman's comment section the other day. They were saying that after seeing this video, they're now afraid to max out, they're afraid to bench press, and that, it's just really saddening as a coach to see that because maxing out can be done safely, bench pressing can be done safely. It's all about how you are approaching your training sessions. What he did will not apply to 99% of you guys. So basically just, you don't have to be scared. You don't have to be scared at all. This guy had a pec tear coming for quite a few reasons, and most of you don't have anything in common with this guy. So let's get into it. The first reason is he was ego lifting, plain and simple to see that. The way he was shaking with that weight, that's his body telling him like, dude, we don't got this. You need to put that back. He didn't though, and he paid the price. He wanted to get some views. He might have been caught up in the moment, wanted to impress Larry or whatnot, and it backfired ultimately. Larry, with all the experience he has, he should have known better, and he should have warned him, with the way 405 even, he was shaking with that, and he couldn't touch his chest. It was just a recipe for disaster. So he decided to do an incline bench press with free weight, even though he hasn't done that exercise in a year. He's coming off a shoulder injury, and he decided, I'm with Larry, so I'm all right. It was his first mistake right there. He should have just stuck to what he was good with. And if he did want to do some incline benching, he should have just, worked up to a decent weight, something he could get, 6 reps at the least. You don't really want to go too much lower than that with your first time doing something. And, you can max out on something you're not familiar with, but you can't go all out. You got to just hit a training max. There's a big difference between an all-out max and a training max. Training max is usually about 90%, good bar speed, something you can control. He obviously had no business touching 495. And based off the way he was moving 405, I could say he probably had a true max of around 430, maybe 440 pounds at the most that day. So that means when he went up to 495, he's trying something that's over 10%, about 112, something like that, 112% of his true max, which is good for doing a static hold, but once you lower that weight, you're in a bad situation unless you got some pins to catch you. But in his case, it wouldn't have even mattered because his mobility was so poor, he can't even touch his chest. And that's the first big red flag that I saw, because when you have mobility so bad that you can't touch your chest, benching is a dangerous exercise. Because if you're doing half reps with nothing to stop you, if you accidentally go a little bit too far down, then it's a position you're not adapted to. That's a recipe for a pec tear, just like he had. So when you're bringing the bar down and you're normally just stopping halfway, once you go all the way down, that's stretching your pec out more than it's used to. So, heavy weights and positions you're not used to, that's just common sense. I'm surprised that Larry didn't notice that. Now, if I was training with him, I would have suggested, hey, let's do some pin presses off spudding safety straps or, some board presses. That way, it's a done deal, 100%, that bar is not going to go any lower than his mobility limit point. Once he hits about here, he can't go any lower. So if there's weight pushing that down, it's just going to snap. And that's exactly what happened to him. Another thing he did wrong is he widened his grip in the middle of his session. And I know Larry told him to do that. I don't know why, because that's just not a good idea. Changing your technique, it's going to change how much weight you can use. It's going to change your technique. It's going to place stress on your chest in a different way, and in a way that he's not adapted to. So, everyone knows using a wide grip bench, it's dangerous on the shoulders, it's dangerous on the chest. You have to have really good mobility to get away with that. So, changing it mid-session, he was warming up with a certain technique, and now he's going with a heavier weight with a different technique. I'm just really shocked that these guys are at this level, a high level of mass, high level of strength, and they don't know these basic things. It's just maddening. And also, he was abusing tons of steroids. Nobody gets that big. I think he's like 330 pounds at 23 years old. And he's pretty lean too. So, he has probably 300 pounds of lean mass, which is insane. And you can only achieve that through abusing tons of steroids. And I'm pretty sure he was on ones that give you that cut and dry look. But the thing is, those same steroids are horrible for your tendons, because being all cut and dried out means your tendons don't have much support. They need lots of fat and collagen. Well, not really lots of it, but an adequate amount to help protect your joints and whatnot. So, and also the tendons need more time to catch up. You build all that muscle in 4 years, but tendons take longer to grow than muscle. So he just has no business trying that. I don't even know if he trains with high reps to train his tendons. I hope he does. I hope maybe he will in the future. I guess we'll find out and see how he recovers. And then the final reason why is it kind of ties in with the last one, but he was at a very low body fat, which is also known to increase your injury risk. You don't have as much cushion for the push-in, as they say. So I'd say, once you hit below 10% body fat, you're entering a dicey zone, especially when you're doing heavy lifts, because you're putting a lot of extra stress on your joints that otherwise wouldn't be there, because there'd be extra fat and whatnot to help disperse the load. Now on to a little more positive spin. So it is okay to max out. It is safe to bench press. You don't have to worry about this happening to you, most likely, as long as you're not a professional bodybuilder with horrible coaches and whatnot. Just follow the following tips to stay safe. You do not want to suddenly change your technique mid-session. If you're used to bringing it higher up on the chest, don't switch to bringing it down on your stomach. Don't widen your grip in the middle of warming up. If you have a wide grip bench plan that day, do your warm-ups with that grip and keep it consistent. If you have a close grip bench plan that day, start with the close grip and keep it consistent. Also, do not abuse PEDs. They're horrible for you, as you probably know. Some of you don't care, and that's okay, but you should at least try to train in a way that allows you to get the most out of them, rather than breaking you down and destroying you. Also, you are going to want to train your tendons with high rep work. You can use bands to do that even better, because of the overspeed eccentric, the way the band snaps back. That's going to pull those tendons, and with high reps, it's going to get them a lot of blood flow and help them grow over time more than they would naturally. Without doing tendon training. I would never condone doing anything unnaturally, because substances like that just are not the way to go. You get a lot of short-term benefits, but then once you approach old age, you're going to be on the other end of the stick. Also, as I said earlier, you don't want to go below 10% body fat. If you do compete in bodybuilding and need to go that low, make sure your training is on point and you're not trying any all-out maxes during that time, just to stay safe until you are above 10%, and then you can start that again. You also want to make sure you're well nourished and hydrated, especially before your training session. So, if you go in the morning, wake up and pound some salted water, drink a Pedialyte, eat something salty. That way your muscles are full of water, and that will also help protect your tendons and joints. Another thing I saw that was really dumb of him, I was trying to be positive, but he's just doing so many things wrong. He had 405 and he was struggling, and then he just threw a plate on there and went to 495. That is such a big jump. When you're at 1, 2 plates, that's okay. Some people can even go 1, 2, and 3 plates if they're very strong, but that's world class. Most people, you're going to want to start with the bar, do a plate and a quarter, 2 plates, and then from there it varies based on your strength level. But you see the point. You know, you don't want to take big jumps, especially the closer you get to your max. You know, maybe 5% jumps once you get near 80, past 85, 5%, 10% at most. Let's see here, from 405 to 495, that's almost a 20% jump, which is just insane. I don't know what he was thinking. Another thing, this was also important. You do not want to hit grinders for your training max. If your lift takes more than 4 seconds, you know, that's more in the realm of all-out max. Good training max is usually around 3 seconds. It looks nice and smooth. You know, if you're shaking and wobbling, that means the weight's too heavy for you. And also, you can do grinders. They're safe if you don't over abuse them. I usually save them for meet day or like a mock meet, 1 to 2 times a year, maybe 3 times a year, 4 if your recovery's on point. But if you're doing it every week, you're in for trouble. You want most of your training sessions to be geared towards building strength and size, not really testing your strength. That's just something that's taxing, and it's not going to give you a whole lot of benefit besides learning your weak points. And last but not least, do not sacrifice your technique to add more weight to the bar. Slight deviations in technique are okay, but if it's looking real ugly, then you know that you messed up. Now, if you have bad mobility like him that prevents you from having good technique, then you're going to have to alter the exercise. Like I said earlier, board press, pin press. Don't do them off the metal pins. That metal to metal contact is also bad for your elbows and shoulders. They sell these Spud Inc. safety straps on Elite FTS, and it's basically like a pin in the power rack, but it's more like it's a strap. You know, it's soft. It won't jar up your joints when you place the bar on it. All right, well, in conclusion, you know, I feel real bad for the guy. I wish it never happened to him. I wish he did some research and learned how to train a little smarter before going out and collabing with Larry, because, you know, you can get caught up in the moment, especially if you're hanging out with someone that is a lot stronger than you and you want to keep up with them. It's easy to get carried away, and you'll end up in a real bad situation before you know it. So I hope everyone can learn from this and realize, you know, hey, I can max out, I can bench press and be just fine as long as I am safe, use good technique, don't do anything stupid, especially. That's the biggest point I hope everyone gets out of this. You know, don't lift like a jackass. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel and drop a comment down below if you'd like me to cover any other topics in the fitness community. Thank you. Have a nice day.